Hello. Happy post full moon, everyone. It is taking me a really long time to do this video. I am like full moon hungover. I just was so energized last night. I love full moon in Gemini. It was just the best time ever. I feel like it's so easy to socialize when the moon is in Gemini and everything is very lighthearted and it's just so easy to communicate. At least for me, it was easy to communicate like how I was feeling and it was just like a nice time. I just love Gemini. Okay, so let's get into this week. Venus is still stationary. Chiron is stationary. Sun in Sagittarius is sextiling Jupiter in Aquarius today. We have the winter solstice coming up, which is Yule. We have Capricorn season that same day. Saturn is going to square Uranus officially on Thursday. And then Venus is going to conjunct Pluto on Saturday. Okay, let's just get into it because there's a lot. Okay. So yeah, I'm just trying to I guess integrate whatever occurred yesterday. It was pretty profound and powerful, honestly. And I'm feeling like so much better. I'm just feeling like really slowed down, but that could be because I ate an entire box of pasta last night and I'm not feeling too well. So it's like these veggie wheat noodles. We are obsessed with them. But I don't feel good when I eat an entire box to myself at like 11 p.m. So today is the 19th. It is Sunday. I am in Central Time. So I have this set up to where the closer the orb of the aspect, the thicker the line is. All right. So as you can see, Venus is still stationary and Chiron is still stationary. So Venus is about to go retrograde and Chiron is in process of going direct. So those really, really deep pain wounds have been coming up like for reals. They've really been showing up and it's to me, it feels like a very like pointed action. And that could be, it's a little bit wide, but because of this trine between Mars and Chiron right now, it's a very like pointed, like, let's look at the actual wound, the actual soul, deep soul wound, and like push it in and like pull it out. I'm thinking of like, have you ever seen those machines that they have like a very like sharp, I don't even know what to call it. I can't explain machinery, but like a projection, and it will like dig into the earth to pull a tree out and just like pull the whole tree out. That's kind of like what I'm feeling right now, like literal just energy, Chiron type of energy, like pushing it into the earth, like into our depth and helping us like uproot those trees, uproot those things that just don't need to be there anymore. Or it could also be things that maybe we've literally projected onto other people, but are really reflecting pain wounds within ourselves. So it's very deep work. And Venus is going retrograde. Of course, it's going to conjunct Pluto again. It already has exactly conjuncted Pluto. It will again conjunct Pluto next Saturday on the 25th, so on Christmas. It's going to be an intense Venus in retrograde. It is what it is. I'm fine with it at this point. Like, okay, let's do this basically. Today, the Sun in Sagittarius is forming a sextile to Jupiter in Aquarius. So you can see that they're both in 28 degrees here. So honestly, this is like a very expansive, joyful, optimistic, maybe kind of energy. It's just very, very expansive. It's like with the sun, whatever we're focused on, whatever is in view. Can you guys even see me? I'm so pale right now. I'm gonna turn down this light a little bit. That's not helping. Okay, it's fine. That Italian in me like did not show through whatsoever. So whatever we're focused on with the sun and being in Sagittarius, it's going to be Sagittarius things, belief systems, vision, religion, possibly law, things that expand the mind, body, and soul. Now that it's making this sextile aspect to Jupiter, which rules Sagittarius, in Aquarius, like anything that we're focused on, it might just like expand into oblivion. That's how I feel about this aspect. Like it's just going to keep going and going and going. And there isn't too much of a stop like there normally would be. It's almost like getting into like the Neptune territory of like forever expansion. There's just a lot of expansion. So instead of maybe hitting that boundary of Saturn, which we might, it's more so the way I see it is like spiraling out beyond and then kind of like fading out. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how I feel about this energy. So on the 21st, we have the winter solstice. We don't want to do that. So the winter solstice, it's very dark. This is really the darkest time of the year, and which is perfect time for Capricorn season, of course. Capricorn is one of the more somber times of the year, very sobering, but we are getting to the top of that mountain. We are climbing, we are not giving up. I'm just pulling out a few cards that have to do with Capricorn because this is also the first day of Capricorn season. So of course, Capricorn is going to be related to the Pentacles suit because this is Earth energy we're talking about. And we almost have like a mystic square here on that day too. So as you can see, the sun is at 0 degrees of Capricorn. So I just want to pull out like the tarot cards that I think have a lot to do with Capricorn energy, and we'll talk about why. So the Devil card is the Capricorn card, and it has a bad rap for good reason, Satan, Saturn. So I'm pulling out most of like the Pentacle cards. I don't want to talk about all the Pentacle cards though, because we'll be here all day. King of Pentacles, yeah, I guess we can talk about this too. Okay, we'll pull out the 10 of Pentacles, which is also a stage card. I'm so sorry if you don't like tarot. Tarot, astrology, like they just go together so well, and they really like unveil a new layer. I'm sure there's other ones, but these are the ones when I see it, I'm just like, yes. Okay, Capricorn energy. So Capricorn season are amazing, beautiful mountain goats. My sister is a Capricorn, big dad energy for sure. Because Saturn is like the father figure teacher, right? I'm just going to come out of this for a second so we can talk about the tarot cards. So I don't know what my hair is doing today. It grows straight up, so I don't know what to do. I'm just like, I don't know, I'll just push it back, I guess. Because like if I try to have bangs, it just grows straight up anyway. So it is what it is right now. I feel like I talk about my hair every video. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, so let's talk about the Devil card and how that relates to Capricorn. So Capricorn is a cardinal sign, initiator, leader, boss. They often assume the authoritative role, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it's not their place to, they just do it because they want to be the first up that mountain. The mountain being the obstacle of Saturn, but also like the societal ladder of success, the mountain of success. They want to make it to the top of that mountain so that they can rule over everything on earth beneath them. And that's why traditionally Capricorn is the sea goat, because it's ruled by Saturn. So the goat aspect reaching the highest point of the mountain, and then the is it a fish? It kind of looks like a mermaid in a way. So the sea aspect is like a fish, which is getting to the deepest depths of the earth. So ruling the boundaries of Saturn, right? So Capricorns they're really interesting actually, because they are actually at their core, like they're very sensitive, I think, and sweet. And they have a really, really goofy sense of humor. I'm just thinking of like goats frolicking. They definitely have that side to them. But then they have like that very like tough, like stern Saturn energy too. So they're bosses, they're leaders, they get things done. They set a goal, they work towards it, and they meet the goal. And they just keep doing that, one mountain after another. They're always fighting an uphill battle of some sort. So how does this relate to the Devil card? See, the thing about the Devil card is it's supposed to inflict fear. That's what it's supposed to do. Which of course, if you're Christian, it probably like really inflicts the fear, even if you're not scared of it, like it just does, it does for me, I guess too. It's supposed to inflict fear. Why? Because Saturn rules fears. The Devil is not really what you think. Satan is Saturn, basically, because the Devil is physical reality, it's materialism. Just like these people are literally bound to Satan in this picture. They have like little chains around their neck. I know it's really hard to see. They have chains around their neck, and in some of the traditional decks, they're actually holding the key too. So they could unlock themselves at any point, and it's up to them if they want to or not. We are bound to Satan. We're bound to Saturn. We're bound to physical reality. We're bound to these bodies. I mean, you know, if we want to go into the Neptune side of things, we can astral project and leave our bodies, but with Saturn, it really can bind us in a not so good way as well. So any materialism in excess becomes a problem. And that's usually what I see this card representing, is materialism gone too far a lot of the time. But that's just my personal interpretation. That's how it comes up for me. So materialism gone too far, like being power hungry, being a hoarder, addiction, being obsessed with power, being obsessed with like your status, your public image, all that Capricorn stuff. It's not inherently bad stuff, but it's when we become like so bound to it that we don't see the other way. We don't understand how to liberate ourselves, which would be like the Star card in Aquarius. That's when it becomes an issue. So this is like really a loaded card. This is the Capricorn card. There is something very ritualistic about Capricorn people. I don't know if it's just like their organizational structure. There's something ritualistic about Capricorn, something to think about. I also see like the Three of Pentacles maybe as like a Capricorn card. This could be more of like a Virgo thing, because they're building a cathedral in this tarot card. They're working together. That's how I see this card, is working together. Not that Capricorn can't work with a group. They do really well working with a group, but they need to be the boss. They want to be the manager. And they have that strength and resiliency and that natural aura of authority, I guess, that makes you respect them. So they need to be a leader. Definitely the Hierophant, for sure. Even though this is like traditionally a Taurus card, because Taurus is like the status quo, Taurus is like pretty religious a lot of the time too. It is interesting that this is like the Taurus card, this like priestly figure, and then this is the Capricorn card. They kind of go together, you know. We can get into that too. That's like a whole other video. So the Ace of Pentacles, of course, you know, taking a goal, being presented with an opportunity, a new job, a new goal, in some material way that you want to level up in life. That's Capricorn. This to me is like the main Capricorn card in a lot of ways too, is the Five of Pentacles. This is Saturn. Like if I had to pick a card for my Saturn return, I'm pretty sure this is the one that I would pick. This is interesting because it's like the abundance and the structure and the foundation exist, but these two people have it rough right now. Like they're out in the cold, you know, this guy's got a broken leg, she's wearing this like tattered shawl, and I also noticed that like she has gray hair, which makes me think of like Chronos, Saturn, Father Time too. It's climbing that mountain. I think this should be like a picture of a mountain too. There's a lot of theories too that this is supposed to represent like a church window, which that church window, the Five of Pentacles, it kind of looks like the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, does it not? They could go inside and like have that warmth and everything, but they're outside right now. So they're going through it. I think this is like the Six of Pentacles too, is like great Capricorn energy, because they can be very generous. Like they become that solid foundation for other people to lean upon. And that's something they don't really get credit for. I mean, there's so many stereotypes about zodiac signs. I'm getting really tired of them, honestly, right now. Of like, Capricorns like money, but like, it's not that they just like money. It's like, they like what money represents, which is stability, which is foundation, which means that they can materially level up. So it's not just about the money. If we want to talk about the money, we can talk about Taurus, because they're ruled by Venus, which is money. So they actually literally like the money. But as far as Capricorn goes, it's a little bit more expansive than that, I would say, maybe a bit more esoteric too, of like what that actually represents, because they're very like family oriented as well. This is like the Hoarder Pentacles card, which is also can be Capricorn, but really for anything having to do with the material, you could hold on to it a little too tight. But again, I kind of see that with Taurus, which debate arguably is kind of less evolved than Capricorn if we're just looking at the karmic wheel of astrology. Because Taurus is like, this is what's mine, that's what's yours. Keep it over there. This is mine. Don't take my stuff. Don't mess up the order of my house. They really don't like that. Capricorn is a little bit more evolved. I feel like Capricorn will, I don't see them as like that hoarder energy. They're just a bit more evolved. They understand what dominating, getting to the top of that mountain of the material really means and what that can do to like benefit society. So it's a little bit different. While Taurus, the second house, is about like values. So the 10 of Pentacles is like the ultimate material. I'm sorry, you can't even see this. The ultimate material success. It's a stage card. So it's like the potential for material success. It is interesting that it's a stage card too. It kind of has me thinking about the Illusion Cups card. I think it's the 6 of Cups, where we think that these material things will make us happy, but it's not that they won't. But again, like we need the cups, we need the spirituality and the emotions, we need the fire, we need the vision, we need that fire of passion. And the swords as well. We need like that intellectual problem solving intelligence to make our life whole, I guess. So any of these things on their own, they don't really bring the happiness that we need. And material success like only gets us so far too. Like we really think that any of the suits will get us ultimate fulfillment, but we really need all of them. And it's like a constant lesson to figure out how those things all fit into each other. So Capricorn, they're super strong. My teacher, Rick Levine, always told me to not make assumptions, but I constantly make assumptions. But I have noticed that Capricorn sons, because the sun represents the father, they often have like a father issue. It seems like a lot of people in our society have a father issue, regardless of signs. But Capricorns, they either have an absent father, it seems like literally absent father, or like especially emotionally absent, or they have a father who's like very like overly Capricorn sometimes, like very cold. Not every time, but a lot of the time. So speaking of Saturn, on the 23rd, Saturn is going to square Uranus again. So this is really, really important. Really important, you guys. So Saturn's at 11 degrees here, which is actually my stepdad, Saturn, Aquarius, is squaring Uranus. Yeah, oh my God, he better like stay home or something. His Saturn return has been really, really interesting. Interesting as in like they've had tornadoes and storms and like very, very chaotic stuff happening. So Saturn square Uranus, this is like the theme of everything that's been going on. Saturn, the old way, this is how we've always done things, the traditions, the rules, top-down economics, people in power versus everybody else that's serving the people in power. Like this is like very, very traditional stuck Saturn energy versus square Uranus, which is liberation, which is equality for all, which is liberalism and allowing all people to express themselves how they choose and just being accepted for that. While Saturn is a little bit more about separation, I would say, about the boundary, at least in the rules and the hierarchy. So Uranus is the rebellion, the revolution. It's looking at things in a different way. It's the tower. It's breaking down the way that things have always been so that we can refresh everything and move into a different way of being, a new way of being. It's the future, while Saturn is the past. So, this is chaotic energy. The last time we had Saturn square Uranus, everyone felt like the lightning was going to strike, like the ball was going to drop, something was going to happen. And as we've gotten closer and closer to this square, the anxiety for everyone has really been increasing, and like everyone can feel like something's going to happen and they're not sure what. And you can kind of see this reflected in like the fake news and everything, where it's like they're almost like slowly building things to like make us more anxious. And I'm really trying my best just to like disengage right now, because once we get to Saturn square Uranus, here's the thing, like the people in power, like they have astrologers, they know that this is happening. So I think that they don't want the Uranus to happen. They don't want things to downfall. They don't want the revolution. They don't want the rebellion. They want things to be exactly how they've always been because it serves them. It's not going to happen. Sorry, because Saturn is squaring Uranus. This is conflict, and it's two very different energies that are disrupting both ends. So the Saturn's getting disrupted and the Uranus is getting disrupted, but literally Uranus is the disruptor. It's the revolutionary. So this is a tense energy. Things in your own personal life, look at where 11 degrees of Taurus is and where 11 degrees of Aquarius is. That will give you an idea of how that's working out for you. What are you letting go of? What are you disrupting? What are you refreshing? Because Uranus, it's a very chaotic, electric kind of energy, but it's also the star card. So it's also maybe not renewing like Pluto, but it's inspiring. It's like when you're at rock bottom, with the bottom being Saturn, when you're at rock bottom and you suddenly have, like, you've lost all hope, you know, you don't have a job, you lost your job, you lost your partner, like all this bad stuff is happening, you've reached the bottom of Saturn, the boundary. It doesn't get any worse than that. That's when Uranus comes in and almost like gives you that spark of hope and that North Star kind of feeling that opens you up. And like, this is like in addiction, like they talk about like addicts reaching rock bottom, which not all do, but like a lot of them do, who get like really far into it. Once you hit rock bottom, like you just kind of surrender and you're like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm ready for a new life and I'm ready to try something new. And that's really the star. That's Uranus, that's Aquarius, of like, that opens up the clouds, like the storm clouds, and just offers you a way out, because you surrender to the flow of the universe, and then you automatically like open up your own energy field and it like liberates you. So I'm thinking of like the Revelation card. Is it called Revelation? The judgment card. Let me find it. Also, I'm not sure if that card, Judgment, kind of reminds me of this card too. So you have these people like coming out of their graves. It's supposed to represent like revelation in a way, these like corpses coming out of their graves. And I think this is supposed to be Archangel Michael, like heralding, I don't know, everyone's ascension into heaven. It kind of reminds me of that, because it literally feels like when you get to those spaces in your life and you let go and surrender, it literally feels you just like ascend and like float out of your body. So yes, Uranus square Saturn, I'm grateful for it. We needed this so much. I mean, not only do we have our Pluto return coming up, but we needed this. Things could not keep going the way that they were going anymore. It would have fallen anyway, you know, whether all of this like craziness happened or not, it couldn't be this way forever. And that's why Saturn and Uranus need each other. I mean, in mythology, they're not best buds at all. So they need each other, because Saturn on its own will crumble anyway. An old house that you never update or add on new additions or change the structure or continue to work on, it's going to crumble anyway. So Uranus is there to be the refresher, to be the one that takes the energy as is and makes it something new. This is inventions, this is science, this is just revolutionary ideas. So it's inevitable. Things can't always stay the same way. And it's interesting because in like utopian or dystopian novels, they talk about like the future when like everything is so Uranus, you know, things are so liberal and so moralless. I can't think of which book I'm really thinking of right now. Where they get to Uranus, then you need the Saturn again. They kind of like balance each other. They like check each other, you know, check of power. You need both for sure. They have to balance each other out. So one is not better than the other. They're just a part of this reality. Okay, on the 25th, on Christmas, Venus will conjunct Pluto again. Merry Christmas. And Mars in Sagittarius is going to trine Chiron also. So here's Mars. I'm just messing around, trining Chiron over here in Aries. So pain wounds coming up for sure, like an irritation of the pain wounds. it's an interesting energy for Christmas. But anyways, transformation is occurring. We are rising like the phoenix. During my meditation last night for the full moon, the first vision I had was of a phoenix. So that's really what this Venus in retrograde is telling me, is like that we are transforming. We are initiating, Capricorn, the apocalypse, so that we can literally just burn everything, burn the bridges, burn ourselves, and then we will rise from the ashes like the phoenix. Now on the following day, Hygeia, let's get Hygeia up here. Hygeia is actually going to move into Scorpio. So Hygeia, being a serpentine healer goddess of medicine, of hygiene specifically. What am I doing right now? Hygeia. Hygeia wants to make a comeback, like I keep saying. It's kind of sad to me when like these really important goddesses just get like literally forgotten about, probably because of what like the patriarchy honestly has done to the stories of the goddesses. You know, every goddess is like either a virgin or a demon, or every goddess is a, you know, I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Just very polarized and like gross. It's happened with all of them. I'm reading, I told you guys a million times already, but One God Was a Woman by Merlin Stone, and she was saying like any goddess deity that the church couldn't turn into a virgin, they just turned him into a demon. And that makes me really mad. Hygeia is going to move into Scorpio. Uh-oh. Hold on one second, sorry. Hygeia moves into Scorpio on the 26th. All right. So Hygeia in Scorpio, like serious kundalini action. We're really digging into our roots, and like I see this as like the literal just deep purge of just our deepest wounds, and like Scorpio wounds, you know, like that really just dark, horrific, like traumatic stuff that Scorpio tends to rule over, and Pluto. That's the kind of stuff we're going to be healing. And that is really, to me, strongly linked up with this Venus in retrograde. This is like some serious Plutonian, you know, end of the world kind of energy here, but it's the apocalypse, it's the nuclear explosion, and the one little growth of plant that survives or pops up after everything has happened. It's very intense. So just be aware of that. I think things having to do with Hygeia, which is health, which is hygiene, cleanliness specifically, purification, especially with Scorpio too, purifying the soul, purifying the body, detoxing, doing a cleanse, fixing our diet, fixing our habits, our day-to-day habits, because this is kind of like Virgo energy too, Hygeia, our day-to-day habits, activities that we do that contribute to our health, for better or for worse. That's the kind of stuff we need to look at right now. It's really important because I just think like these emotional things that are just sitting within us, they're going to really affect the body if they're not already, because all that stuff goes together, right? As above, so below, things in our emotions, trauma that we hold on to. I'm just thinking of yoga too. Yoga and what's happening in the physical body is so reflective of what is happening in the emotions and in your thought patterns as well. If I don't do yoga for like a week, I am feeling terrible. Like my body will just tense up. I hold on to everything. I'm holding on to all this like emotional crap. And it really shows me like how that's working together. And once I can stretch those areas of my body out, it literally like releases that stuff. Like smudge, I don't want to use the word smudge. I'm trying to be respectful here, but you know, cleanse your mats, because if you have a yoga mat, there's probably so much energetic stuff just sitting on there. Okay, so it's going to be intense, but Hygeia and Scorpio, it's such strong serpent energy. Like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking of like an eagle carrying a snake in its mouth, because Scorpio is the dove, the eagle, and the scorpion. But you know, Scorpio is very strong serpent energy too, shedding the skin, transitioning, moving through the darkness. Scorpio and Pluto is like the tunnels, like the plumbing of the earth. It goes deep, it goes into the underworld. It's also our dead and how we bury the dead and death and things like that. So this is important. I just want to normalize talking about death a little bit too, because when we embalm people, it's actually polluting like our water supply. Like those chemicals are very, very toxic. And the whole idea, like, I'm not judging or anything. It kind of like, it's just a strange thing to use like these chemicals that are so toxic to the earth in order to honor our dead. So it's just something to think about, maybe purifying like the way that we treat the dead too. That's like such a Hygeia Scorpio thing. Okay, so that's pretty much all I had to say. I was kind of rambling a lot here. So yes, it's an intense week. We're ending this year with a bang. The new moon in Capricorn will be on January 2nd. And Jupiter will enter Pisces on the 28th. So exactly a week after Capricorn season starts. I'm very excited about this because we need this. We need it so bad. After Saturn squares Uranus and we're in Capricorn season and we have all this really deep like gutting of like our trauma wounds right now, Jupiter in Pisces is really going to soothe the whole thing and help us heal. Not that Pisces is like a soft healer energy. It's really not. It's like soft healer, but it's also like very strong, powerful Neptune energy. It's washing the wounds. It's washing away all the dirt and the grime and whatever the heck else Saturn square Uranus kicked up, and it's going to help us heal and help connect us to Christ consciousness. Okay. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will see you next Sunday when Hygeia moves into Scorpio. Okay, bye.